Welcome to our exploration of oogenesis, the process by which female gametes or eggs are produced. Oogenesis is a multi-stage process that begins during fetal development and continues through a woman's reproductive life. Unlike spermatogenesis, which produces sperm continuously, oogenesis has distinct stages and involves a limited number of oocytes. Today, we'll explore these key phases, from the formation of oocytes to their eventual fate, whether fertilized or unfertilized, and how the gradual loss of oocytes through atresia leads to menopause. Oogenesis begins during fetal development with the formation of primordial germ cells. These cells originate in the yolk sac and migrate to the developing ovaries around the 4th to 6th week of gestation. Once in the ovaries, PGCs differentiate into oogonia, which undergoes several rounds of mitosis, resulting in millions of oogonia by the 20th week of fetal development. Around the 20th week of fetal development, the oogonia begin to differentiate into primary oocytes. These oocytes start meiosis 1, but the process halts at prophase 1, where the oocytes remain until puberty. At birth, a female has about 1 to 2 million primary oocytes in her ovaries, but many of these oocytes are lost over time through atresia, a natural process of programmed cell death that reduces the number of primary oocytes over time. At puberty, hormonal signals trigger the menstrual cycle and oogenesis resumes. During this stage, the number of oocytes has decreased to around 400,000. Each month, a group of primordial follicles is recruited, but typically, only one follicle, known as the dominant follicle, fully matures. The primary oocyte in the dominant follicle completes meiosis 1, dividing into a large secondary oocyte and a smaller polar body, which usually disintegrates. After meiosis 1, the secondary oocyte begins meiosis 2, but the process halts at metaphase 2. This secondary oocyte is released from the ovary during ovulation and is now ready to be fertilized. If fertilization occurs, meiosis 2 will resume. However, if fertilization does not take place, the oocyte degenerates and is shed along with the lining of the uterus during menstruation. Menstrual flow is the body's way of clearing out the unfertilized oocyte and preparing for the next cycle. If fertilization occurs, when a sperm cell successfully penetrates the secondary oocyte, meiosis 2 is completed. This produces a mature ovum and another small polar body, which disintegrates. The ovum then fuses with the sperm's genetic material, forming a zygote, which marks the beginning of embryonic development. As women age, the process of atresia continues, gradually depleting the number of viable oocytes. Throughout a woman's reproductive years, only about 400 to 500 oocytes will be ovulated. By the time a woman reaches her late 40s to early 50s, the number of oocytes in the ovaries is so low that regular ovulation and menstruation cease. This marks the onset of menopause, the natural end of a woman's reproductive years. Without enough oocytes, The ovaries stop producing the hormones necessary for maintaining the menstrual cycle, and menstruation stops permanently. Oogenesis is a highly regulated process that begins in the fetal ovaries and continues throughout a woman's reproductive years. From the formation of primary oocytes during fetal development to their cyclic maturation and eventual release during ovulation, the process ensures the production of viable eggs for fertilization. The gradual loss of oocytes through atresia eventually leads to menopause, signaling the end of the reproductive phase in a woman's life.